All right, well, the Ravens are favored by 7, and it's time to get to some picks. And I'm going to start things off. I am going with the Ravens. It's been a tough draw for Deshaun Watson. He opens the season against Mahomes. Then he has to play Lamar. He just got all of his new money, but he is likely going to start the season 0-2 because I got the Ravens winning big.
Well, I'm with you on that one. I have the Ravens as well. I have a nice comfortable lead, 28-20. Not a huge scoring game in terms of total offense in general, but I think a nice comfortable 8-point win for the Ravens.
Ooh, I have a big win for the Ravens too. 34-21. There is not a game all week that I feel better about in terms of the Ravens winning this game comfortably. I think it's going to be closer in our next game. Ricky, what do you got? Oof, I'm excited about this one. The Seahawks are favored by 4, and I've got them winning a little more comfortably, 27-19. Keep an eye on Jamal Adams, who had one of the best games of his career in his debut with the Seahawks. Can he blitz them and get into some looks that Cam Newton can't change out of? You saw that in Miami last week. He's not really changing the plays too much. That could be a problem for the Patriots.
Okay, first of all, it's still the Patriots. Bill Belichick has a little extra motivation. I want to say I like that Russell Wilson's good. I just don't know about the whole let Russ cook tagline. Let's just be clear on that. But I do have them winning 24-22. It's kind of like Danny Dimes. I'm not into it yet. Not yet. So 24-22 Seahawks.
I'm going with the Seahawks as well. I think he's going to let Russ cook. I not only believe in the strategy, I am a fan of the let Russ cook line. Unlike you, Cynthia, I think it continues. I do think Cam gives the Seahawks defense more fits than they expect. He had a solid week 1, but ultimately, Seahawks win. Eagles are favored by 1. I am going with the Rams. For the reasons I told you, the defense stepped up a week ago. Even Jalen Ramsey made some of those plays we talked about he needed to make for them to win late in the game. Sometimes a little shaky, but he showed up when it counted. I think the Rams continue, and there's going to be a lot of questions around the Eagles. Cynthia, what do you got next?
I'm with you on that one. I think there's a ton of Eagles injuries. Again, it could change on Sunday, but latest injury report to me still indicates a 1-point Rams win. I have 23-22 in this one. I think it's going to be a very confusing game for the passing game for Carson Wentz. I wouldn't project a lot of passing yards in this one.
Now, you both went against the Rams last week. I got that one right. This time you go with the Rams, but you're chasing that out because the Eagles are going to win this game 27-24. They get so many starters on track to return, not just Miles Sanders, but Lane Johnson, Derek Barnett. They are just healthier throughout their roster, and they really need the win. Sometimes that's what it's all about in week 2. Who needs the W? It's the Eagles.
All right, the Cowboys are favored by 4. Let's get into some picks. I'm going with the Cowboys. They dropped the heartbreaker last week. I think they get it going this week. Again, I'm just not a big believer in what the Falcons have shown early on, or even a continuation from last season. So I think the Cowboys continue to roll, and they get their first dub of the season. Cynthia, what do you got?
Well, you said 4, so I'm going to go 5. I have 29-24 Cowboys. I think you're right, Greg. Those secondary is really suspect on both sides of the ball. I think that's going to come back to haunt the Cowboys later. I think the Falcons, their defense, are going to have to work around it, kind of like we saw last season. But that defense, I'm really a little worried. There's some key pieces missing on that defense, Leighton Vander Esch. So that's going to be an interesting problem, though, going forward.
Yeah, Cynthia, I know you're doing some fantasy live this year. Here's a free segment idea. Throw everyone in the pool fantasy game. This is it. Falcons, Cowboys, both sides of the ball. It's going to be Falcons 36-35. Everyone in the pool. Everyone gets their numbers, but it's Atlanta with the upset victory. Maybe they won't wind up regretting passing on CeeDee Lamb. The Chiefs are favored by 8.5 in this game, and I have the Chiefs winning 27-17. I don't think Anthony Lynn is there quite yet. I'm with you, Hawk. I think Tyrod can do a little more than they're allowing him to. But this Chiefs defense is going to be enough stopping the run, and we know Patrick Mahomes can get it done. A little more play action from the Chiefs, too, in week 1 was a bit of a different wrinkle. I like them to win.
I'm with you in the same differential between the points. I have 29-19, a slightly higher scoring game. I kind of wish Anthony Lynn could play. He looks like he's in good shape. He could do it. But ultimately, for me, I think that there's other situations. This is not the year for the Chargers. They just have too many injuries, and especially against the Chiefs, it is the Chiefs division.
I'm going with the Chiefs as well. This is the Chiefs division. I don't know if there's a game all season that I'm going to pick against the Chiefs. I don't know if that's proper analyst work, but that's how high I am on Patrick Mahomes. Saints are favored by 5.5. I am going with the Saints for, the reason that you guys mentioned and the fact that this offense, look, Drew Brees is that kind of guy. And he showed a lot of moxie in week one and making sure he can contend. I didn't realize Tom Brady got canceled. That was news to me, Cynthia. But regardless, the Saints will roll in the Vegas new stadium. Cynthia, what do you got?
So I think this is one of those games where John Gruden has something extra up his sleeve for us. So while I think the Saints win, I think it's a closer than expected game. I have 26-23 in this matchup. So just a 3-point comfortable win. Also, with Michael Thomas being banged up, I do think it means a lot of fantasy reps for Alvin Kamara. He's my running back number one on the entire week, even over Christian McCaffrey. So it's an interesting but maybe slower paced game. But this is where Gruden takes those like nice calculated risks. He's in Vegas. He's got to take some gambles.
Yeah, I'm with you, Cynthia. I have a 3-point win for the Saints. I think it's tight. I don't think the Saints offense looks very good early in the season. They're a little too condensed. This is a good matchup for them. So I think the Raiders can keep it close, keep it interesting on Monday night, but ultimately a Saints W. In this game, the Cardinals are favored by 7. How about that? That's kind of new for Kyler Murray being expected to win like that. I think the Washington football team is going to keep a closer game than that, but that ultimately Arizona and their ground game gets the victory.
So I think that the Arizona doesn't keep it that close. So I have 27-19. I think that the run game and the fact that pressure is where Washington's really strong, but their secondary is very suspect and they've been very banged up. So the way that you get rid of pressure, we saw Kyler Murray actually do it last week. You run right into it. And they also have a running back in Kenyon Drake that can do the same. So again, a pretty big win for Arizona.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of Kenyon Drake, another guy that I'm super high on. But yeah, to your point, I like the Cardinals as well. I'm going with the Cardinals. Washington definitely surprised all of us last week, as you've seen from the memes on Twitter from the official Washington football team account. We'll get you back, I promise you that. But yeah, I think Kyler Murray is going to shock them, and I hope they're watching right now. Washington football team Twitter account. The Cardinals will win, and I will post about it afterwards. All right, there you go. We got the Broncos at the Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 7. I'll kick things off. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Big Ben is happy to be back. He's happy with his weapons. They look like they're gelling pretty well for earlier in the season. I think it continues this week.
I'm with you, Steelers, but I've got a bigger than 7 victory. I have 24-16, which is 8.
I have the Steelers by 10. Drew Lock has never played a defense this good. He's played a lot of cupcake defenses, so I think this is going to be a tough one for him against Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Another old quarterback playing this week, Tom Brady. He's trying to make up for last week. Panthers and Bucks. The Bucks are favored by 8.5. I have the Bucks winning a bit of a high-scoring game, 30-23. I do think this is a get-right game for Tampa's offense because that Carolina back 7, there's just not much resistance in that Panthers defense right now.
I'm with you. I have Bucks 28 and 20 for Carolina. I think that the interesting one in this one to watch is probably a Rojo touchdown.
Rojo touchdown. I like that. I'm going with the Bucks myself. Tom Brady bounce back game, division game, super important to him. I also question those receiving weapons for Teddy Bridgewater. I like Robbie Anderson. I like DJ Moore. I just don't know if they have enough juice that Teddy needs to make plays to beat the Buccaneers. Next up, we got the 49ers and the Jets. The 49ers are favored by 7 here. I'll kick things off. I'm going with the 49ers. A lot of question marks about the Jets. I was told before the show it's too early to start questioning and putting coaches on the hot seat, so I'll refrain. Just say I'm going with the 49ers, but I bet you can see where I'm going with this.
I just got hot. I feel like I'm now in the hot seat because I actually agree with you. I have 25-17, a sleepier game than you might think in this one. I think the most interesting thing that might come out of it is maybe a Frank Gore situation. It's this, he's 86 yards is the most he's had in any revenge game. That was when he was a Colt, and that was against. So maybe it could be a fun. I'm trying to be positive here.
I don't think this is gonna be fun for Jets fans. I think the 49ers are going to win by 10. Frank Gore is going to be asking the 49ers to take them back with them on the plane. He wants to be on a good 49ers team. He wants to be on a good team at the end of his career. Coming up next, we got the Colts and the Vikings. Colts are favored by 3 in this game. It's a really big game. Both teams are 0-1. I like the way Phillip Rivers threw the ball last week, and I like the matchup against a Vikings defense that struggled, not just in the secondary, but up front. So I think the Colts win this game 34-27.
Woo, that's a high-scoring game. I have the exact opposite. I have 24-20 Vikings. Vikings over Colts. They upset the Colts at home. I think that Phillip Rivers, without the running back situation, is not good without Marlon Mack. It's going to be very confusing. I do like Jonathan Taylor, but I think Mike Zimmer's got this one. He'll figure it out.
I love Jonathan Taylor. I love JTT when I was a kid, too. He was very, very popular. But I'm going with the Vikings. I'm with you, Cynthia. I think Greg is wrong, per usual. I think that without Marlon Mack, that running game is going to struggle, and that's going to hurt Phillip Rivers in his game as well.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas, also quite short.
You feel me? You get it. You get it. You get it. All right, so next up we got the Lions and the Packers. The Packers are favored by 6.5. I am going with the Packers. Lions, if you cannot stop Mitchell Trubisky down the stretch, what do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do to you? And that's why I'm going with the Packers. I feel very confident about this pick. And I'm also not going to talk about hot seats either in this situation. Cynthia, you're up.
Wow, more heat already. Okay, well, I have Packers 27-23 with the Lions. This is Barry Sanders right here. Don't listen, Barry. I'm very sorry. It's not me. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be great.
Ooh. Yeah, I got Aaron Rodgers lighting up this Lions secondary 35-21. There's injuries in the secondary for Detroit, and they also don't have Kenny Golladay in this game, so they're not quite the same offense. It could be a rough one for Detroit. Another team in the NFC North 1-0. It's the Bears facing the Giants. The Bears are favored by 5.5, and you know what? I'm going big upset here. I like the G-men to go in there. They've got the better quarterback in Daniel Jones, and I'm not really buying this Mitchell Trubisky, rejuvenation machine when he started that game 9 for 22 against Matt Patricia's Lions. So let's slow the roll on Trubisky here, shall we?
Oh boy. Well, I don't think that the outcome's going to be the same, but I have Bears 24-17. I don't think that there's going to be a situation where the defense in both of them is really the strength here, and the defense of the Bears is really where I have an edge in this one.
I'm going with Mitch Trubisky and the Bears. I picked against them last week. I was wrong. I'm starting to be a believer in Mitch Trubisky. Down the stretch, you have that kind of game and come back from that kind of deficit for the win. I don't know. I'm not going to go on record and say that I'm all in on Mitch, but I'm sure our producers are going to be happy to hear that I am also with him and think that this team is looking up. Go with the Bears. All right? Next up, we have the Bills and the Dolphins in Miami. Bills are favored by 5.5. I'm going on the upset here. I'm going with the Dolphins. I think it's going to be very hot down there in Miami. I think it's going to be hard for those Bills to keep rocking the way they are when they're getting used to that heat. And every once in a while, Ryan Fitzpatrick has these games where he plays out of his mind. It's been going on for the last decade and a half. I think this week is one of those games.
All right. Well, I kind of disagree, but I like the theory. I like the theory on that one. But I have the Bills winning this one. A very comfortable win for them. I have 25-18. I think the interesting part here is really the Josh Allen situation in terms of it's a low-scoring game, but Josh Allen is in the top amongst quarterbacks for fantasy purposes. So don't rule him out. Don't count him out. Don't look elsewhere. You want to start him.
Well, I like how Cynthia is way more respectful and nicer to Hawk. I kind of disagree. No, you have a blowout for the Bills, and he picked the Dolphins to win this game. I'm on Cynthia's team this time. I got the Bills winning by 10 points in this game. The Dolphins rather struggled with Cam Newton last week, and now he has to play the poor man's Cam Newton this week. It's Josh Allen. So I think the Bills get it done. Last up, another division game. It's Tennessee versus Jacksonville. The Titans are favored by 8.5. And I think the Jaguars keep this game close. I think this is the week people start realizing this Jaguars offense is legit, and at least it's a nice close game.
I don't know if I agree with that in terms of the closeness there, but I have 27-17. I have a pretty big win. I have a monstrous Derrick Henry game. And I don't know if I think it's because the Jags offense isn't so great. It's just because the Titans and Derrick Henry are better.
I like the Titans as well. Heavy dose of Derrick Henry. I did underestimate the Jags, but they will keep it close, but it won't be enough to get the win.